This is the bracelet we're going to make. So let's talk about the materials we'll need. For this bracelet, you're going to need 4x6 and 3x4 millimeter rondelle crystals. You'll need about 8 of the 4x6 and about 14 of the 3x4 millimeters to make a 7-inch bracelet. You're also going to need some super duos, some 11-0 Toho seed beads, and also you're going to need a couple of 6 or 8 Toho seed beads to connect the clasp with the jump rings. So let's get started. I'm using a size 10 needle with 6-pound fire line, and I'm going to start off by putting a super duo and 3 11-0s and stringing that on. Then I'll go through the other hole of the super duo. And tie a knot. Then I will go through one more time the super duo and the 11-0s. Until I'm coming out of the super duo. Next, I put on 3 11-0s, a 4x6 crystal, 3 11-0s, a super duo, and 3 more 11-0s. And I'll string that on. Then I'm going to go through the other hole of the last super duo I put on. Then I put on one 11-0. And I skip this 11-0, go through the next 2, the crystal, and the next 2 11-0s. And I put on one 11-0 and go through the other hole of the super duo, as well as the next 3 seed beads. Going through one now, and go through the next 2. Made my first drop of the bracelet. Next part will be repeating. Next, I'm going to put on 4 11-0s, a 3x4, 7 11-0s, and a super duo, and I'll string that on. Next, I'm putting on 3 11-0s, a 4x6, 3 11-0s, a super duo, and 3 more 11-0s, and I'll string that on. Here's where I'll go back through the other hole of the super duo I just added. Add one 11-0, go skip this 11-0, but go through the next 2, the crystal, and the next 2. Then I put on another 11-0 and go through the other hole of the super duo. And here's where I will flip this around and go back through 3 11-0s above the super duo. I'm going to repeat those sequence of steps. Putting on 4 11-0s, a 3x4 crystal, 7 11-0s, and a super duo. String that on. Then I'm going to put on 3 11-0s, a 4x6, 3 11-ohs, a super duo, and 3 more 11-ohs, and string that on. Here's where I'll go through the other hole of this last super duo I added. Add an 11-oh, skip this 11-oh and go through the next two, the crystal, and the next two. And put on one 11-oh and go through the other hole of the super duo. Then I flip this underneath the line at the top, the line of 11-ohs at the top, and go through the 3 of the 11-ohs there at the top of the super duo. Let's do that one more time. Adding 4 11-ohs, a 3x4, 7 11-ohs, and a super duo. String that on. Then I've strung on 3 11-ohs, 4x6, 3 11-ohs, a super duo, and 3 more 11-ohs, and string that on. Here's where I'll go through the other hole of the last super duo I added. Add 1 11-oh, skip one, go through the next two, plus the crystal, plus 2 more 11-ohs. Put on 1 11-oh and go through the other super duo hole. You can flip that around and go through back through the last 11-oh seed beads at the top. So we will repeat that step 4 more times to create 4 more drops. Okay, I just finished my 8th drop here, and now I'm going to make the end of one of the ends of the necklace. I'm going to put on 6 11-ohs, a super duo, an 11-oh, a 6 or 8, and an 11-oh. And I'll string that on. Then I'll go through the other hole of the super duo. I'll put on 6 more 11-ohs and then go through these 3 11-ohs. Okay, now here's where I'm gonna, you can see I've made the end there. That's gonna be where the jump ring goes through for the clasp. Now I'm gonna kind of flip the work over to be sort of vertical so I can work my way back up. Okay, next I'm going to go through this super duo and this seed bead. Here I've got 4 11-ohs, 3 super duos, and 4 more 11-ohs. And I'm going to string that on and go up through this seed bead, so I'm forming a loop around here. So I go through this seed bead and super duo. I just created this loop here. So now I want to go back all the way around to this end. So I'm going to go through the top 3 11-O's that are on top of this super duo. And I want to keep following that around. Through the super duo, through these 3, seed beads, back through this super duo and all of these seed beads, and then through these 3 that are on the edge of the super duo. Okay, next I kind of want to connect this side. It's kind of like working like a ladder. So I'm putting on 4 11-O's, a 3x4, and 4 more 11-O's. I want to go through these outer seed beads. I'm going to make another one of these types of loops, so I want to go through the super duo and seed bead to start the loop. So I'm putting on 4 11-O's, 3 super duos, 4 more 11-O's. And I want to go through this seed bead and super duo to make that loop. Now I want to go through, back down through the other side of the super duo on that seed bead and finish off this loop back here. So I'm going to go through super duo and seed bead. Add 4 11-O's and go through this super duo. And here's where I can fold back this middle one. Put on 1 more super duo. Go through the other hole of this super duo. Put on 4 more 11-O's and go through this seed bead and super duo. Alright, so I have completed the first little component here in the middle, and I will just continue those steps. Let's do them again. First I need to go through these top 3 seed beads out on the edge of this super duo. 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm coming out of this 11-0. I want to connect this up, make another loop up and another loop back. Four 11-0s, a 3x4, and 4 more 11-0s. And I will go through these seed beads on the edge of the super duo. And I want to go down through the super duo and next seed bead to start the next loop. Put on 4 11-0s, 3 super duos, 4 more 11-0s. And I want to go through this seed bead and super duo. Now I want to go back through the super duo, other side of the super duo and seed bead. And here's where I'll do the back loop to finish this component. I'll flip this back here just because that's where it's going to go. Add 4 11-0s on, and I'll go through this other hole of the super duo. Put on a super duo, go through the other hole of the other super duo. Put on 4 more 11-0s and go up through this seed bead and super duo. Okay, to be able to start the next repeating segment, I'll go through these 3 11-0s on the top. And we're ready for the next, connecting the next rung of the ladder. This is tricky, so I'm going to repeat it one more time. I got 4 11-0s, a 3x4, and 4 11-0s, and I want to go through these 3 seed beads. And to start the next loop, I want to go down through this super duo and seed bead. Here I've got 4 11-0s, 3 super duos, 4 11-0s, and I want to go up through this seed bead and super duo. Then I want to go up through the other hole of this super duo and seed bead. And I'm going to finish off this middle component here on the back loop. Adding 4 11-0s, going through this super duo, a super duo and go through the top, the other hole at the top. Then I put 4 more on and go up through this seed bead and super duo, completing that middle component. To get ready for the next one, I go through these 3 top and I'm ready to connect the next rung of the ladder. So you kind of repeat these steps to the end of the bracelet, and then we'll show you how to make the other end. Okay, I've continued the pattern to the end of the bracelet where I'm ready to connect the last rung of the ladder. So I'm going to put on 4 11-ohs, a 3x4, and 4 11-ohs, and I'm going to go through these 3 seed beads. Through the last one there. Okay, now I'm going to make the end and then come back and finish this component. So I'm going to put on 6 11-ohs, a super duo, an 11-oh, a 6 or 8, and an 11-oh. And I'm going to string that on. Then I will go through the other hole of the super duo. Then I'll put on 6 11-ohs, and I'm going to go through these 3 outer 11-ohs. Go through the first one. And go through the next 2, so it's all 3. Here's where I'm going to go through the super duo and the next seed bead to start the finishing of this component in the middle here. Put on 4 11-ohs, go through the other hole of this super duo, flip that one back, put on a super duo, and go through the other hole of this one. Put on 4 more 11-ohs, and I want to go through this seed bead and super duo. Now I've completed this last middle component, and I'm going to go follow it around and be able to tie a knot to finish it off. So weave it back around. I'll go through these 3 seed beads above the super duo again, through all these seed beads, through the super duo, and through these seed beads as well. The super duo, and then all the way through all of these seed beads. We'll go through these three on the top. Now if I go through this super duo and next seed bead, I can wrap around to where this thread is coming out. And by going up through this seed bead, and here's where we can tie a knot. And I'll snip that. And here is the finished bracelet. Now we just need to connect the jump rings and clasp through the end here for both ends. So you just take your jump ring and you open it. You feed it through that seed bead at the top. And add the clasp. And close it. Got the clasp on one side. Now let's just put the jump ring on the other side. Open the jump ring. Feed it through that seed bead on the end there. And close it. So that's how you attach the clasp. And this is the finished bracelet.